HIIT won't burn your fat, and I'll prove exactly why. For years, influencers told you that high-intensity interval training, that's HIIT, the all-out, sweat buckets, can't talk after style cardio, is the best way to burn fat. It burns more calories, it has the afterburn effect, and a fancy side effect of metabolic conditioning, which sounds really sciencey. It's just a shame these influencers don't actually know what it means. Even university student Cal was fooled into thinking that HIIT was the optimal way to lose fat. While it's not bad, it's not the best for fat loss specifically. Sure, you'll burn some fat, but you'll also burn yourself out with enough sessions. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what the latest studies have found, and why most fitness coaches are still selling 2015 era science, and that's if you're lucky. Plus, I'll be telling you exactly what you should be doing instead. Two industries built their entire business model around here. F45, Barry's, Orangetheory, CrossFit, Les Mills Grit. I'm sure you've heard of those and had their aggressive marketing shoved in your face. I know for sure I have. To work, they need to make you feel exhausted so that you've got your money's worth. And God forbid you leave the gym without being soaked head to toe in sweat. Sweat is satisfying, and it also makes customers that come back for more. You've got to be a half-dead, sweaty mess to burn fat, right? No, you really don't. The second industry to capitalize on HIIT was the wave of influencers that popped up during the pandemic, and its get fit at home trend. Their whole content library was built around high-intensity workouts. They can't walk it back without contradicting the decades worth of videos they currently have. So they just keep selling it. Sadly, more often than not, people refuse to adapt so that they don't look uninformed or stupid. The reality, however, is you look better if you do adapt. The issue is they're too busy selling fat shredding pills for belly fat rather than actually keeping up to date with the current research. I genuinely think that most of them have never read a paper anyway. And a small secret, there's no actual way to lose belly fat in that specific area. And I'm sorry, it's almost always the last area to actually go. Here's the bit that should have been your first lesson. For on cardio in a deficit, that's when you're eating less to lose fat, shifts the focus of your training. Preserving lean mass, which is your muscles, and losing fat becomes harder for no reason other than a bad cardio choice. The reality is, burning more calories doesn't always mean burning more fat. That's not your fault for not knowing. Most coaches won't tell you because they actually don't know themselves. So now you're thinking, well, okay, what actually works? Let me tell you what's been discovered by credible research to answer that question. Last year, a big review came out. Scientists call it a meta-analysis. It's basically a study of all of the studies that we put together. This study looked at people that lifted weights and did cardio at the same time. The old story was that cardio kills your gains in the gym. That's been preached for years. And the new research, let's say, that's massively overstated. Specifically, your muscle size, what science calls hypertrophy. So does cardio kill your muscle size actually getting bigger? Absolutely not. It's largely unaffected, as is your maximum strength. Power and explosive output, the kind of strength that a sprinter or a fighting athlete needs, yes, that is negatively affected by long bouts of cardio. But the broad cardio kills your gains line that most fitness coaches are pushing, yeah, that's the last decade's take that didn't survive the latest research. They're still living in 2010. So if cardio doesn't kill your gains, why am I still telling you to stop? That's not the right question to be asking. The right question is cardio giving you more benefits than the recovery that it costs you? And in a fat loss phase, the answer is no. Let me explain what I mean by recovery cost. Your body has a limited amount of energy each day. You spend that on living, training, and recovering from training, plus all the other stuff that you get up to every day. When you're eating less to lose fat, you've got less energy in the bank to start with. HIIT, the gasping all-out cardio, burns through your recovery budget fast. Now you've got less left to recover from your gym session. meaning that your lifts get worse. The muscles you're trying to protect start disappearing alongside the fat. That's not fat loss, that's just getting smaller. It's a one-way ticket to looking soft and skinny fat. Yes, you lose weight, but not all of it was fat. In this case, the scales do lie. And ladies, you need this advice too. You're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger from lifting. Unless you want to, that is. Most fitness apps ignore recovery requirements. They give you a workout, but they don't ask you what you're recovering from. What's competing for your macronutrient intake? Or how this week looks compared to last? That's the gap that I built AIPT to fix. Proper coaching logic, not generic templates. Anyway, now you're thinking, okay, HIIT sucks. So what's better for burning fat? The answer is something called LISS. That stands for low intensity, steady state. It sounds technical, but it's actually the most simple form of cardio that you can do. Walking pace, bike ride, light incline on a treadmill. The exact protocol? Your heart rate should be sitting in what's called zone 2. That's a heart rate where you can still roughly hold a conversation. It's around 120 to 135 beats per minute. No gasping, no panting, just a steady rhythm. So for me, that's been on a treadmill at 6 kilometers per hour or 4 miles per hour at an incline gradient of 5. Speed and gradient is case dependent and doesn't actually matter, as long as you're hitting the 120 to 135 beats per minute throughout the entire workout. It doesn't sound very hard, but that's the point. It isn't. And that's 25 minutes per session, 3 to 4 times per week. That's all. That's the whole protocol, and it should be after you finished your resistance training. So, lifting your weights. LISS burns calories and doesn't compromise recovery. It doesn't generate that fatigue debt. The research shows it consistently outperforms or matches HIIT when it comes to fat loss, when your energy expenditure is controlled and accounted for. For an 80 kilogram person, so that's around 175 pounds, 25 minutes of zone 2 cardio roughly burns around 200 to 250 calories per session. If you do that 4 times a week, you've added 800 to 1,000 weekly calorie burn without touching your recovery. That's the real fat loss accelerator, not the afterburn effect or metabolic conditioning. It's just consistent low intensity work that doesn't break you. How do you know you're in zone 2? Simple test. You should be able to hold a conversation while doing it. If you're gasping for breath, it's too hard. If you can sing while you're doing it, it's way too easy. It's in the middle ground where the work happens. And no, your Apple Watch's burn zone isn't science. It's a marketing label. Use a chest strap or check your perceived exertion. So, your 1 to 10 scale. Smartwatches are great for quick assessment, but you should always self-assess. And yes, I use my smartwatch when I'm doing my cardio because it is a great quick reference, but it's not absolute science. HIIT isn't useless. In maintenance, when you're not eating in a calorie deficit and your recovery isn't compromised, it's fine. And a great tool for cardiovascular fitness. Athletes use it, I used it before my knee gave out. But that's another story. HIIT has a role, it's just not for you right now. Specifically for fat loss in a deficit. When the priority is preserving muscle while losing fat, HIIT is just the wrong tool. Here's another thing. Your nervous system, the wiring that runs everything, from your reflexes to your concentration, is already under stress when you're eating less. Don't pile more stress on top of it. That's how stupid mistakes happen in the gym, and that's how injuries happen. There's also the hormone called ghrelin. That's a fancy word for the hunger signal. When your body is already running on less, hard cardio cranks ghrelin up even higher. That's why you're starving on a calorie deficit and smashing yourself in the gym. Your body is literally screaming for the food it isn't getting. Different goals just require different tools. The industry sold you one tool for every problem because it makes marketing easier, but that doesn't make it right. Even when you know the perfect plan, life gets in the way. You travel, you pick up a small injury, maybe you skip a session because the latest TV reality show is on. Fuck you, Love Island. I said it. The training plan you bought in week 1 doesn't fit your week 6. I don't want that to happen, but if I'm honest, it probably will. Look, I'm building a community on school. It's called Craigie's Club. We celebrate wins, ask questions, and of course, apply real coaching. And the best bit? It's free. The link's in the description, and it includes a free fat loss starter guide. I'll see you in there. If you want even more, I've also built AIPT, my AI personal trainer and nutritionist. At the moment, we're starting at founding price. That's £14.99 a month. For those founding members, that price is locked for life. So if you're interested, the link to my website is in the description too, and also the channel's bio. If you're interested, that's fantastic. If not, whatever. Drop a comment below with what cardio you're actually doing right now, and I'll read through every single one of them. If you're tired of being ill-informed and sold recycled fitness fads, then subscribe. It'll save you a lot of time and anger for an often simple fix. The next video will be on why your diet keeps rebounding. The eat less, train more lie. That's really just making you fatter. Real coaching, no bullshit. See you in the next one.